Failed driving test for the reverse around the corner. I'm going to break down exactly what happened here so you can avoid making the same mistakes. All the important things I say, I will leave a video above so you know exactly what the tester is looking for. Let's get straight into this. So the very first thing we see here is they got 2 grade 1s for rules and checks. Rules and checks usually falls under your road signs and your test questions. If you get 3 or more signs or questions wrong, you will get a grade 2. The checks part of that is when you first get into your car, just make sure your mirrors and stuff like that is in the correct position. But usually people get marked here for not knowing their signs and questions. There is a really important video above. I want you to watch that for the most frequently asked road signs. Next we see they got 1 grade 2 for position on the straight. So the reason why people usually get marked for this is for usually driving in the middle of the road when the tester felt they should have been centre left. Another reason why you can be marked for position on the straight is if there's cars parked on the left hand side and you weave in and out of the parked cars. Remember, if there's cars parked on the left, you go straight past provided it's safe to do so. So next we see they got 1 grade 2 for position on the bends. So this is the same as position on the straight. We want to be away from the centre line. Usually the reason why people get marked for position on bends is when they bend around to the right, they steer too early and end up in the middle of the road as they come around the bend. Remember, we want to be centre left. Another reason is if you bend around to the left, you don't do enough steering and you're just too wide coming around the bend. Next, we see they got 1 grade 2 for position turning right. So this usually comes up in most of the marking sheets because turning right is pretty difficult. Just remember, correct position is you need to be over to the centre line. You need to drive in a straight line up to the turn, and we want to steer when the front of our car gets in line with the centre line. The reason why you can be marked is by not being over to the centre line enough, or not being in a straight line going to the turn, or steering too early and cutting the corner, or steering too late and swan necking. Also, you can do too much steering and end up in the middle of the road on the new road, or not enough and come too close to the curb on the new road. There's a lot of reasons why you can be marked here. Next we see they got 1 grade 2 for position turning left. The reasons why people usually get marked for position turning left is they're going to a left turn and they're coming out wide instead of being straight to the turn. It has to be straight lines up to your turns. Also, when they steer, they don't do enough steering and they're too wide coming around the left turn. If you click the video above, that'll be a much more detailed video on explaining position. Remember guys, if you want help from us to pass your driving test, click the link in the description, fill out the form and we'll do the rest. Next we see we're into observation and they picked up 1 grade 2 for observation moving off. So if you've seen any of my videos, you always know I talk about GOSHO, gear, observation signal, handbrake, observation. Make sure you check your blind spot before you move off. There's a really cool video above here explaining exactly what GOSHO is. Next we see they got 1 grade 2 for reaction to hazards. That usually means they were driving down the road and the tester felt they should have seen something that was going on in front and they didn't see it and they continued at the same speed. Remember, if something gets in your way, you have to show the tester first of all you can see it, and second of all you're reacting accordingly. Whether it's a pedestrian crossing the road or a car pulling out in front of you, come off the gas and use the brake. Or if it's a car parked on the left, make sure we mirror move out earlier. Next we see they also got a grade 2 for anticipating others. That usually means that you are driving down the road and the tester felt it's very similar to a reaction to hazards, but somebody wanted to cross the road or pull out from a garden and it would have been easier and safer to let the person cross or pull out in front of them. Check this really cool video above for reaction to hazards. I explain everything that is reaction to hazards. Also, the second clip you will see me speaking about anticipating others. Next we can see we're onto vehicle controls and they picked up 1 grade 2 for accelerator. Usually the reason why people get marked for accelerator is for pressing the accelerator too hard in the lower gears and the revs go up. Usually when you see a mark for accelerator, you also get a mark for gears. Next we see they picked up a grade 2 for gears. So usually what happens is they press the accelerator too hard, the rev goes up too high and they're too late shifting up the gear. So usually when you get a mark for accelerator, you will also get a mark for gears. Next we see they got a grade 2 for foot brake. That usually means that someone has pressed the brake too hard and the tester felt it could have been smoother. What could have happened was they also got a mark for a reaction to hazards, so they probably seen a hazard late and had to brake hard, so one mark will follow the other. The same as gears and accelerator, so usually one mark will follow another. Next we see they got 2 grade 2s for handbrake. So there's a few reasons why they can be marked here. It could have been that they were stopping the car with the handbrake before they fully stopped it with the foot brake. Or when they were asked to pull in on the left, they just stopped and left their foot on the foot brake when the tester would have wanted to see handbrake up into neutral or park. Also, they could have been marked for when they went to release the handbrake, they either forgot or they couldn't get it down in time and they tried to drive with the handbrake still up. There's a few reasons why it can be marked here. Next, we see they got 2 grade 2s for steering. So this wouldn't really be common to get 2 marks for steering. So just remember, when we're doing steering, it is okay to cross your hands sometimes, provided it's not really sloppy. So the reasons why they might have got marked for steering is for steering with one hand, or I've seen this a few times, when you loosen your grip and the wheel is spinning in your hands, people tend to snap at it and the car kind of wobbles a little bit. Just remember, if you are releasing your grip to let the wheel straighten up, just trying to close your grip a little bit slower to stop the really abrupt kind of shake when you do it, when you grab the wheel. So that's another reason why it can be marked for steering. Next we see they got 2 grade 2s for speed. So twice they went too high over the speed limit and they got marked for speeding. This will never be for going too slow. If it was too slow, it would be progress. So when you get a mark for speed limit, it's for going too fast. Just remember, keep your eyes peeled for the speed limit signs. Next we see they're onto the reverse around the corner and they picked up a grade 3 or they failed their test for competency. The reason why you would fail your test for competency is for going way too wide and being miles away from the curb. Or the reverse of that is hitting or mounting the curb. That's the main reasons why people usually get a grade 3 for competency doing the reverse. If you watch this really cool video above, I explain exactly how you can do the reverse around the corner correctly. Next we see they got a grade 2 for observation doing the reverse around the corner. So this either means they either weren't doing the correct observation, doing the back window and checking the blind spots when they were supposed to, or they were checking but they didn't see what was going on and they should have seen a car coming behind them and they just kept on going as there was a car coming behind them. Remember, if there's somebody coming behind you, we stop, let them pass and then we continue on. And last but not least, they got a grade 2 for competency doing the turnabout. So this means that they done the turnabout incorrectly for whatever reason. They probably took too many attempts going back and forth across the road, or they possibly hit the path, or there's a few reasons why they can be marked for competency. It's a bit of an unusual one that. Check this really cool video above for more details on the turnabout. Remember guys, if you like the content, like, subscribe and watch all the other videos. Best of luck.